Hey, how's it going? Francis Robertson here, and today I'm actually going to be doing a book review. Okay, so as I said, I'm doing a book review, and don't forget, if you like this channel, if you like what you hear, what you're seeing, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button down below. Now, the book that I'm going to be reviewing today is it's called Biocentrism by Dr. Robert Lanza. And you might be thinking, why am I doing a review on this kind of a book? Because again, as a mentalist, I do a lot of, you could say mentalism tricks and effects, to do with the mind. And again, this is all to do with consciousness and our mind. Now, even though what I do, I use a lot of, mixture of psychology, misdirection and sleight of hand, to create some interesting effects with people. I've always been, fascinated by, the unknown, the mysterious, because it's really these mysterious moments that, for me create, real magic. And again, anything to do with consciousness, anything to do with the mind, anything to do with how the world works, maybe where we came from, the unknown, answering, all the unknown questions out there, or, looking into these unknown questions, it really fascinates me in that way. Now, although this book is about the cosmos and it's about the universe, and generally speaking, most books that are written about the cosmos and the universe are written by physicists. Dr. Robert Lanza is actually a biologist who comes from doing stem cell research, and basically what Dr. Lanza kind of goes into here, he takes a slightly different point of view to normal everyday physics. He's basically stating that consciousness is really the key to understanding the universe. And as weird as it actually sounds, Dr. Robert Lanza actually says that without consciousness then there is no universe, which is a really strange thing to think, because again, we would always think that obviously there's the Big Bang and all these certain events happen, it was chaining events that led us to evolve and so forth. But what he's saying is that without consciousness none of this would actually exist, which is a very strange way, or a very interesting way to look at things and actually look at the universe and the world and our own reality that is around us. Now, Dr. Robert Lanza goes into a little bit of detail as well about the basics of quantum mechanics, wave particle duality, and how our own observation of particles can determine whether or not a particle is actually a particle or a wave. And he goes into details about the famous double slit experiment. Now, basically, to cut a long story short, just the basics of the double slit experiment was they fired electrons, or if you imagine these electrons firing through like marbles through two slits, you would imagine each electron, and if there was going to hit maybe a board at the back of this, or you was going to fire bullets through each one, maybe, you would get two slits at the end. However, when they did this, they actually found that when they fired these electrons, they would go through each slit, they would interfere with each other. Instead of getting two slits, they would get a line of slits. Now, what's interesting is when they decided, they wanted to, place a device in to actually see what was going on, if you was going to say, to see how these particles was interfering with each other. Once they started to observe this experiment, the particles actually went back to being two slits, which again, for me, this is like real magic in that way. This actually shows how our own consciousness can affect how a particle actually behaves. Now, there's also a very interesting point he makes here about the old kind of thing about the tree in the woods. If a tree falls in a wood and there's nobody there to actually hear it, does this tree actually make a sound? Now, basically, if we're going to imagine this tree and imagine this tree falls, all we're really getting at that moment in time is pulses of air. Now, basically, these pulses of air don't produce any sound, and it's only when a specific range of these pulses are present do they allow the ear's natural architecture to allow consciousness to conjure this experience of noise. So basically, an observer, an ear, and a brain are every bit as necessary to create the actual experience of noise as are the actual air pulses themselves. Another nice example that Dr. Lanza gives is about sight or vision. He explains about a candle actually burning in a forest, and basically saying that, like any light source, this candle or this light is basically photons or little packets of waves of electromagnetic energy. Basically, these exhibitions of electricity and magnetism that are this whole light show. It's an invisible stream of, electrical and magnetic pulses. And basically, we as an observer and our own consciousness are completely necessary to experience this, and for us to actually see what we perceive to be a yellow light or a yellow flame, basically. So I find it's all quite interesting how everything really is about how we actually perceive things. Everything really is just you could say an illusion, a perception. For example, every time I'm actually touching this book, Biocentricism, basically it's the molecules and particles repelling each other that give me this feeling of touch. Again, when I'm hearing things, it's how my brain's perceiving it, and as Dr. Robert Lanza says, our brains can't physically see through our craniums. It's how our bodies interpret these photons and electrons, and how our brains actually interpret what we actually see. And I find this all very fascinating. Is the world that we actually live in, is it actually real? Again, is it actually all an illusion? What is actually out there? What are we actually seeing? Again, everything is just made up of these particles and electrons and photons and molecules, and it's just how our consciousness is interpreting all of this. Now again, this all may sound a little bit far-fetched, but at the same time, I'd highly recommend reading it. It's just a very interesting read. In terms of the actual book review itself, I would give it 10 out of 10. Again, just because it's very interesting. It's very well written, very easy to follow. So again, you don't have to be studying a degree in quantum mechanics or biology or physics or whatever. Again, it's very easy to read, just for anybody to pick up and read. Like I said, if you're interested in deep, thought-provoking reads that really leave you thinking and really actually leaves your mind blown, I would suggest this book. So Biocentrism by Dr. Robert Lanza. I've left the link below. So again, just click on that. You can probably get off Amazon. I think the link below is an Amazon link. So again, if you want to check it out for yourself. And again, just maybe make your own mind up, or for nothing else, just a interesting read. Again, this kind of stuff really does fascinate me. It really gets me thinking, and it actually does blow my mind. So yeah, if you like this video, please leave a comment. Please like if you like the video, and subscribe. And again, if there's anything else you'd like me to touch on or review, just let me know. So thank you very much, and yeah, check it out for yourself.